There are two types of people in this world. First, the ones who grind for years, work day and night, but constantly get ignored. And second, the ones who bend the room to their will before they even step inside. You've been told a lie since you were a kid, that if you're nice, honest, and work hard, success will just come to you. This is a lie. The real world doesn't run on hard work. It runs on power and dark psychology. If you think you can survive in this competitive world by playing innocent, you're dead wrong. You'll just end up as a pawn on someone else's chessboard. Robert Greene pointed out a brutal truth in his iconic books. Human beings are slaves to their emotions and power dynamics. Today, we're going to decode 5 advanced psychological mind games that will make you unstoppable in any situation, conversation, or workplace. But there's a catch. After watching this all the way to the end, you'll never look at people or their intentions the same way again. Rule 1. The competence trap. Why hard work gets you fired. Picture this. You work at a company. You're the most talented person on the team. You single-handedly bring in 80% of the results, and you handle the toughest projects. Do you think you're going to get promoted? Pragmatically, yes. But psychologically, no. This is the competence trap. Let's break this down with a real historical event. Back in the 1600s, the famous scientist Galileo Galilei needed financial backing. He invented the telescope, and he knew that if he just showed off his brilliance, people would envy him. So what did he do? He discovered the moons of Jupiter, but instead of taking the credit for himself, he dedicated those moons to his powerful patron, the Medici family. He publicly declared that these moons were a symbol of the Medici family's greatness. The result? The Medici family made Galileo their official philosopher, gave him lifetime funding, and provided total protection. Why? Because Galileo didn't focus on the results. He focused on ego psychology. People don't care about your results or your talent. They care about how you make them feel. When you try to act like the smartest person in the room, you trigger insecurity and jealousy in your boss, your peers, and your competitors. There are 3 ways to master this rule. First, never outshine the master, meaning you should never be loud about your superiority, and instead, make your boss or influential people feel like their vision is bigger than your talent. Second, balance result versus relationship by keeping 80% of your focus on where you stand in organizational politics. And third, use the silent assassin strategy by letting your work speak through results while always shifting part of the credit to your higher-ups, which makes them dependent on you. Rule 2. The illusion of subservience. How the weak actually control the strong. You've probably seen people who constantly yell, boss others around, and try to act like, I'm the boss. Dark psychology says, the loudest man in the room is the weakest man in the room. The person who pretends to be dominant is actually just hiding their insecurity. Real power isn't about making noise. Real power is about keeping quiet control. In a classic relationship or workplace dynamic, the most powerful person isn't the one barking orders. It's the one who pretends to be helpless or agreeable, while secretly manipulating all the choices in the background. Think about this. When you force your power onto someone, it triggers an instinct in their brain: rebellion. They will oppose everything you say, even when you're 100% right. Absolute power comes when you make the other person feel like they are in total control, even though the decision was yours all along. There are 3 key rules to this game. First, the victim leverage, where acting a little vulnerable or helpless every now and then lowers the other person's guard so they won't see you as a threat, and they'll hand over confidential information. Second, control the options, not the choice. Meaning, if you want someone to do something, give them 2 options that both work in your favor, where the choice is theirs, but the outcome is yours. And third, emotional detachment, because in any conversation, the person who gets mad first or reacts first loses their power right then and there, so become unreactable. Rule 3. The art of theatrical seduction. Seduce the brain, not the eyes. Human beings aren't driven by logic. They're driven by emotions and grand spectacles. When we talk about seduction or charm, people think you need good looks or money. False. If you look at coins and Roman documents from that era, history's most famous seductress, Cleopatra, didn't fit standard beauty norms. She had a long nose and average features, yet she turned two of the Roman Empire's most powerful commanders, Julius Caesar and Mark Antony, into her slaves. How? Through theatrical spectacle. When Julius Caesar arrived in Egypt, Cleopatra didn't just set up a simple meeting. She had herself rolled up in an expensive Persian rug and smuggled into his room. For Caesar, it was pure shock and drama. Later, for Mark Antony, she built a golden boat on the Nile River, complete with clouds of perfume, music, and herself, dressed up like the goddess Venus. Caesar and Antony were both military geniuses, but their logic crumbled against Cleopatra's visual drama. The human brain doesn't care about boring information. The brain craves drama, suspense, and grandeur. How do you use this strategy in real life? First, create an atmosphere. How do you walk into a meeting? Your tone of voice, your pauses, and your body language should all be structured like a show. Second, feed their specific weakness, because everyone has a void inside them. Julius Caesar wanted drama, Antony wanted a lavish lifestyle. So figure out their emotional craving first, then play into it. Third, master the unpredictable and don't be predictable, because once people completely figure you out, your value drops to 0. Rule 4. The Chameleon Protocol. Why consistency is a trap. You've probably heard people say, be authentic. Always stay true to yourself. That sounds great on paper, but in power tactics, rigidity is suicide. People who stick to just one personality trait, like I'm just brutal and aggressive, or I'm just super polite, are extremely easy to read and destroy. Look at modern tech billionaires or historical conquerors. They don't have a single fixed public identity. They are chameleons. For example, when a founder needs startup funding, he acts like a world-class, charismatic, empathetic, and humble visionary. But when he needs to push out board members or crush a competitor, he turns into a cold-hearted, ruthless strategist. Niccolo Machiavelli wrote in The Prince, "A leader must be brave like a lion and crafty like a fox, because a lion can't dodge traps, and a fox can't fight off wolves. If your patterns are predictable, your enemy can calculate your next move well in advance. There are 3 ways to use this protocol. First, the mirroring technique, where when you meet someone new, you subtly mirror their speech pattern, body posture, and vocabulary. Because on a subconscious level, the brain trusts people who look and act like them. Second, strategic unpredictability, where every once in a while, you intentionally break your routine and do something no one expected, creating confusion and anxiety among your rivals. And third, emotional distance, keeping your real goals and long-term plans masked at all times, so nobody should know what you're doing until it's already done. Rule 5. The narcissism mirror, the lie you tell yourself every day. Now for the most uncomfortable and dangerous rule in this video. The lie you tell yourself every single day when you look in the mirror. Right now, watching this video, you might be thinking, I'm a good person. I don't want to hurt anyone. I don't manipulate people. Congratulations, you are a massive narcissist. Psychology shows that the person who claims to be completely innocent is actually the most dangerous. The biggest truth about human nature is that we are all self-absorbed. We all crave validation, we all want power, and we all think we're a little better than everyone else. Robert Greene says, "Until you accept your own dark traits, jealousy, ego, aggression, and the need for control, you won't be able to spot mind games being played by others. You cannot protect yourself from darkness if you pretend it doesn't exist inside you. So, how do you spot a real manipulator? The first sign is the dead-eye smile. When someone smiles, but the corners of their eyes don't crinkle. That smile is fake, and they are analyzing you, not connecting with you. The second sign is excessive charm. When someone suddenly starts showering you with compliments or agreeing with everything you say for no apparent reason, realize they are lowering your guard to gain leverage later. The third sign is playing the victim card. People who constantly claim that the world is out to get them and that they're always the victim are actually the biggest covert manipulators. Power and psychology aren't evil, they're just like gravity. Whether you believe in them or not, they are acting on you every single second. If you don't learn these rules, someone else will use them against you to get ahead. Which of these 5 mind games has someone played on you in the past? Drop your experience in the comments below. If you found this valuable, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next Mind Game Masterclass. Stay strategic. Stay ahead. See you in the next Mind Game Masterclass. Stay strategic. Stay ahead.